Story 1 of 9. Major fire at Viva Energy's Geelong oil refinery disrupts Australia's fuel supply. Major fire at Viva Energy's Geelong oil refinery disrupts Australia's fuel supply. Here's what every outlet agrees on. A fire broke out at Viva Energy's oil refinery in Corio, Geelong, on Wednesday night around 11:05 p.m, with multiple explosions reported. The refinery supplies 10% of Australia's fuel and 50% of Victoria's fuel, processing up to 120,000 barrels of oil per day. Fire Rescue Victoria confirmed the fire was not under control initially and involved liquid hydrocarbons and gases, primarily liquid petrol. The fire started in the MOGAS, motor gasoline, section of the plant, affecting petrol production primarily. No injuries were reported among refinery staff or emergency responders, and all personnel were accounted for. But not all outlets told the same story. The Guardian and ABC report the fire started around 11:05 p.m. on Wednesday, but Newscomer states it began just after 11 p.m. The Guardian and Newscomer report the fire was still burning for about 13 hours, while ABC and Newscomer suggest it was not under control until early Thursday morning. ABC and Newscomer state the fire was primarily in the MOGAS section, but Thej mentions explosions and toxic smoke without specifying the exact location. This story was covered by ABC News, The Guardian, news.com.au, SBS News, and The Age. Story 2 of 9. Australia's March 2026 household spending surge driven by fuel costs and generational divides. Australia's March 2026 household spending surge driven by fuel costs and generational divides. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Household spending in Australia rose 2.9% in March 2026, with transport costs surging 22.9% due to rising petrol prices. Spending at petrol stations increased by approximately 45% in March 2026, accounting for over half of the transport spending rise. The conflict between the US, Israel and Iran, starting at the end of February 2026, led to the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, causing oil prices to rise from $56 to $100 per barrel. Older Australians, 65 plus, increased spending by 14.2% year-over-year in March 2026, outpacing younger age groups. Regional Australians spent more than metro residents in most states, with Queensland and Western Australia showing strong regional spending growth. But not all outlets told the same story. Newscomer states oil prices rose from $56 $80 Australian dollars to $100 143 Australian dollars per barrel, while ABC does not specify the Australian dollar equivalent in its report. Newscomer mentions spending would have risen by 1% in March without fuel costs, while ABC does not provide an adjusted spending figure excluding transport. This story was covered by ABC News and news.com.au. Story 3 of 9. Rescue of a stranded juvenile humpback whale in Wallis Lake, NSW. Rescue of a stranded juvenile humpback whale in Wallis Lake, NSW. Here's what every outlet agrees on. A juvenile humpback whale, weighing 12 tons, was stranded on a sandbar in Wallis Lake, NSW, on April 14, 2026, after initially being sighted near Forster-Tuncurry Bridge on April 13. The rescue involved coordinated efforts by NSW National Parks and Wildlife Service, NPWS, Organisation for the Rescue and Research of Cetaceans in Australia, ORRCA, SeaWorld, and Marine Rescue NSW volunteers. The whale was refloated on April 14, 2026, using sling tows attached to its pectoral fins, with the operation taking 2 attempts. The whale was described as being in good health with no visible injuries or signs of entanglement. Rescuers attempted to close the Forster-Tuncurry Bridge temporarily to reduce noise and disturbance for the whale. But not all outlets told the same story. ABC states the whale was freed and swimming freely by 3 p.m. on April 14, while SMH implies it was still in Wallis Lake as of April 15, with no confirmation of its full escape. ABC mentions the whale weighed about 12 tons, while SMH specifies it was approximately 9.5 meters long and 12 tons, with no contradiction in weight but differing emphasis on size. This story was covered by ABC News and Sydney Morning Herald. Story 4 of 9. 4-year-old boy fatally hit by vehicle in Dubbo, NSW. Police seek witnesses. 4-year-old boy fatally hit by vehicle in Dubbo, NSW. Police seek witnesses. Here's what every outlet agrees on. A 4-year-old boy was fatally hit by a vehicle on Ingrid Place, Dubbo, around 6:40 p.m. on Wednesday, April 15, 2026. The boy was treated at the scene by paramedics before being taken to Dubbo Base Hospital, where he died shortly after arrival. A 24-year-old woman was arrested at the scene and taken to Dubbo Base Hospital for mandatory testing, then released pending further inquiries. No other injuries were reported in the incident. Police established a crime scene and are urging witnesses, including those with dashcam or mobile phone footage, to contact Crime Stoppers or Dubbo Police. But not all outlets told the same story. ABC describes the street as northeast of the Dubbo CBD without naming it, while Newscomau explicitly names the location as Ingrid Place. This story was covered by ABC News and news.com.au. Story 5 of 9. Looksmaxxer Clavicular overdose, hospitalisation, and controversies in Miami. Looksmaxxer Clavicular overdose, hospitalisation, and controversies in Miami. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Clavicular, real name Braden Peters, a 20-year-old Looksmaxxer, was hospitalized in Miami on April 15, 2026, after a suspected overdose during a livestream on Kick. The overdose was first reported by TMZ, which obtained audio of an emergency services call-out describing a suspected 20-year-old male overdose. Clavicular was live-streaming at a Miami nightclub with fellow Looksmaxxer Androgenic, Australian, when he appeared distressed, rubbing his eyes and saying "Oh my God" repeatedly. Clavicular blamed his self-diagnosed autism for his drug use, stating in a post, "All of the substances are just a cope trying to feel neurotypical while being in public." Clavicular was arrested in Florida 2 weeks prior, April 1, 2026, on battery charges for allegedly instigating a fight between two women and posting it online. He was released on a $1,000 bond. But not all outlets told the same story. The Age states Clavicular overdose occurred less than 24 hours before his Miami nightclub appearance, while SMH does not specify timing for the planned event. The Age includes a direct quote from Clavicular about his life support mask and facial scarring, which SMH does not mention. This story was covered by Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. Story 6 of 9. U.S. jury rules Live Nation Ticketmaster monopoly harmful in antitrust case. U.S. jury rules Live Nation Ticketmaster monopoly harmful in antitrust case. Here's what every outlet agrees on. A Manhattan federal jury found Live Nation and Ticketmaster have a harmful monopoly over big concert venues in the U.S. The jury deliberated for 4 days before reaching its decision on April 16, 2026. Live Nation Entertainment owns, operates, controls booking for, or has an equity interest in hundreds of venues in the U.S. Ticketmaster controls 86% of the U.S. concert ticketing market and 73% of the overall market, including sports, according to attorney Jeffrey Kessler. The jury found Ticketmaster overcharged consumers by $1.72 per ticket in 22 U.S. states. But not all outlets told the same story. The ABC article states Live Nation's lawyers did not immediately comment as they left the courthouse, while The Guardian states Live Nation plans to appeal the ruling in a statement. This story was covered by ABC News and The Guardian. Story 7 of 9. NSW nurses and midwives win major pay rises after industrial dispute. NSW nurses and midwives win major pay rises after industrial dispute. Here's what every outlet agrees on. The NSW Industrial Relations Commission awarded a 16% pay rise over 3 years to registered nurses and midwives, 10% backdated to July 1, 2025, plus 3% annually for 2026 to 2027. Enrolled nurses received an 18% pay rise over 3 years, 12% backdated to July 1, 2025, plus 3% annually for 2026 to 2027. Assistant nurses in nursing, ANS, received a 28% pay rise over 3 years, 22% backdated to July 1, 2025, plus 3% annually for 2026 to 2027. The pay rises were granted after the NSW Nurses and Midwives Association, NSWNMA, argued nurses' work had been undervalued, partly due to the workforce being majority female. 9 in 10 nurses and 98.9% of midwives are women. The Industrial Relations Commission ruled the pay rises were justified due to post-COVID inflation and the undervaluation of nurses' work, but noted the increases would cost the NSW government $74.5 million per 1% annually. But not all outlets told the same story. The SMH and Newscomau mention that the pay rises were backdated to July 1, 2025, but the ABC states the pay rises are backdated to July 1, 2025, while also noting the union sought backdating to 2024, which was rejected by all sources. The SMH states the union sought a 15% rise retrospectively for the 2024 financial year, while the ABC does not mention this specific figure. The SMH notes that the union's proposed pay offer was estimated to cost taxpayers over $10 billion, while NSW Treasury estimated $14.7 billion over 5 years, with interest rising to $16.3 billion. This story was covered by ABC News, news.com.au, and Sydney Morning Herald. Story 8 of 9. Former U.S. Marine pilot Daniel Duggan's extradition from Australia to the U.S. denied appeal. Former U.S. Marine pilot Daniel Duggan's extradition from Australia to the U.S. denied appeal. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Daniel Duggan, an Australian citizen and former U.S. Marine pilot, was arrested in Orange, New South Wales, in December 2022 at the US's request for extradition. Duggan is accused of unlawfully aiding the Chinese military by allegedly training Chinese military pilots at a South African training school in 2012. Justice James Stelios dismissed Duggan's bid to avoid extradition in the federal court on April 16, 2026. If extradited and found guilty, Duggan faces up to 65 years in a U.S. prison. Duggan denies all allegations against him. But not all outlets told the same story. No contradictions found between the two sources. This story was covered by ABC News and news.com.au. Story 9 of 9. LIV Gulf faces potential shutdown amid Saudi funding uncertainty and financial losses. LIV Gulf faces potential shutdown amid Saudi funding uncertainty and financial losses. Here's what every outlet agrees on. LIV Gulf executives were called to an emergency meeting in New York on April 15 to 16, 2026, with senior leadership, including CEO Scott O'Neill, absent from the Mexico City event. Saudi Public Investment Fund, PIF, has spent over $5 billion on LIV Gulf since its 2021 launch, with significant reductions in prize money and bonuses in 2026. LIV Gulf's UK arm posted a near $500 million deficit in 2024, with total losses exceeding $1.1 billion over 3 years, 2022 to 2024. PIF released a new 5-year economic strategy emphasizing sustainable investment and cost-cutting, signaling a shift away from high-spending projects like LIV. Players like Sergio Garcia and Brooks Koepka have publicly stated they have not received updates on LIV's future beyond PIF Governor Yasir Al-Rumayyan's 2026 reassurance of long-term support. But not all outlets told the same story. The Guardian and ABC quote Sergio Garcia saying players were told in early 2026 that PIF support was secure for many years, but the Financial Times, cited by Newscomau, reports PIF is actively reassessing funding and may withdraw support entirely. Newscomau states LIV could be losing $189 million per month, while The Guardian does not specify a monthly loss figure, only noting significant reductions in prize money and bonuses in 2026. The Guardian mentions LIV's senior leadership were diverted to New York for an emergency meeting, while Newscomau describes it as an emergency summit, with no date discrepancy but differing phrasing. This story was covered by ABC News, The Guardian, and news.com.au.